All right, guys, I think we're about to get started here. How's everybody holding up? Crazy times, huh? Yeah. Well, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you showing up here. It makes me show up for myself. Sometimes I do all the right things and I get up and I put on the nice music and remember my essential oils and do all of that. But sometimes I forget. And then you show up and hold me accountable and make me do these things. And I'm really grateful for that. Because sometimes I'm like, why would they even show up? What do I have to offer right now? And then just you showing up reminds me of my light, and that I do have something to offer, and you make me feel like I have something to offer by being here. And it's really beautiful. And sometimes I get in my head and think like, oh, what, I'm just going to do my same 3 poses I like to do and, not put any time or energy into a flow. And I get in my head about it. But luckily for me, yoga is the sacred ancient wisdom. And it doesn't really matter if it's the same 3 poses or if we even really do all that much movement. It's about coming into your heart space, being present, and then trying to bring that peace, that bliss into this physical form by starting to move with our breath and allowing that divine consciousness to move through us. And so lucky for me, it's not about having a funky, fresh flow or playlist. It's about being present and showing up, tapping into that heart space. But then instead of just, because I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like I have to choose. Either I'm going to stay in that beautiful meditative state or I'm going to be productive. And I think it's about learning to stay in that space while being productive. And I think yoga is the perfect gateway to access that space while moving your body. And then I think eventually you can move your body in a way that looks like cleaning your house and still staying in that space. And that's what I've been playing with lately. I actually started this psychological fitness class. My stepdad had signed me up for it, and it was a couple $1,000s. And then they just decided to make it free because of all of this, and they want to give back. And it's really, really awesome. If any of you want access to it, I don't think it's too late to sign up. It started a couple of days ago, so you'd have a couple things to catch up on, but they're all recorded. If any of you are interested, send me an email and I'll send them to you because they're free. And one of them is a little confusing because it still says it's a couple $100, but after you enter that coupon code in the email, the balance will go down to 0. So you don't have to put in your credit card info there. And it's really good stuff. I was kind of skeptical because, well, for one thing, because I thought myself I was paying $2,000 for it. And I was just thinking like, is this going to be all rudimentary stuff that like anybody that's been doing the work already knows? And I was looking for references on his website, of him like, at least just an Eckhart Tolle quote or something to make me know that I respect his worldview. And he's full blown speaking Eckhart's language, 100%, and then giving you tools, just like I think yoga is, to bring that dimension of love and light into this physical form. I think it's why we're here. And I don't know about you, but like yesterday, I was driving back up to my boyfriend's place to give this another shot. And the whole drive, I was like in this blissed out state. I mean, aware enough to drive my car, but just only function, like utilizing that much of my headspace to drive. And the scenery was just like, I had to pull over 4 times because it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And I was just in this space. And then the moment I realized I had maybe taken a wrong turn and got confused, I was instantly just back in this place of like, oh, get me out of here. And I realized that was just, I had to come into my head because I had to think about the directions. And that shouldn't have been a real heavy or emotionally charged thing. But it was like such a stark contrast coming back into my head that I just instantly felt the tension of my body. And I was just like, get me out of here. And then instantly remembered, oh yeah, I can just come back here. But I want to be able to think about things like directions or getting my hands on some of this money without it being like this, oh, like a thing I'm avoiding or this aversion to. So I think yoga and these other tools help us to not only meditate, get in that space and then move on with your day, but to stay in that space as we move through our day. And since you have a lot of time on your hands, this is kind of what I've been doing. Like I'll get in that space and then I'll be like, okay, I'm going to clean my house. But cleaning my house is not as important to me as staying in the space. So I'll get up and I'll start cleaning some things. If I lose the space, I sit back down, get back into that space. And eventually I'm cleaning the house in a state of bliss. I'm not super efficient. I'm not moving real fast. I'm, breathing and really enjoying it and bringing that joy into it. And it's been really beautiful. And I think you're all on the same page and that's why you're here. Thank you for being here. Let's breathe a little bit, okay? Let's find a nice tall spine. Inhale a little more length into your spine. Feel that. Feel yourself growing a little bit taller. Exhale, kind of curl into a little ball, kind of tucking the chin and rounding into a little ball. Inhale, try to take up more space. Puff up your chest, fill your heart. Close your eyes. Exhale, round it out. So you're finding that little cat-cow action. But more so you're just tapping into this idea that with every inhale and exhale, you're expanding and contracting, just like the universe does. And every inhale, you'll feel that sense of like, yeah, I can do this, all energized and like ready. And then that exhale every time is the sweet release, like letting that go. It's almost like that inhale is a rebirth of all the possibilities, but then like it's like too much, right? So then the exhale is just like letting it out. So let yourself feel and experience whatever you're experiencing without judging it at all. Just knowing that whatever you are doing right now, whatever you're feeling right now, that is your purpose. All right, slowly come back up to find that neutral spine. Inhale, arms up overhead. Squeeze your palms together, straighten the arms a little more. Feel yourself rooting down to lift everything up a little bit. But invite those shoulders to soften, face to soften, heart to soften. Exhale, hands to heart. Let your head bow slightly to the heart. Close your eyes and see if you can really tap into that heart space. See if you can feel the energy shift out of the head and come down into that heart space. Feel the heart radiating energy out into the hands, out into the room. Now, even when you open the eyes, see if you can stay in that heart space and see everything from that space in your heart instead of through the filter of the mind. Let's come onto the hands and knees. Getting that nice tabletop set up. We'll start to move in that same way, that cat-cow, that expanding and contracting way. Don't worry about what it looks like, just really feel into it. Notice if your head starts to create a narrative and see if you can just sink back down into that heart space. See if you can stay a little longer with each breath, retraining your mind not to be in a hurry, Not to be ready for the next thing, just to be right here with this breath. Slowly come back to a neutral spine and reach back through your right heel. Point your toes at the ground and slightly in to keep your hips in line. So notice if you're kind of letting that hip open to the side and see if you can level it back out. It's going to feel like you're lifting the left hip and lowering the right hip to get both those hips in one line from the side, both facing down. Back of the neck is long. See if you can grow a little taller from your heel to your crown. Press into the hands, feel the strength of your arms. Now reach the left hand forward like you would shake somebody's hand. Keep your shoulder soft and retracted back into the socket, but reach the fingers forward. Reach that heel back. See if you can grow any longer through the back of your neck. Stay with your breath. One more inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring your knee to your nose and round your spine. Expanding on the inhale. And letting go on the exhale. All right, next time you lengthen out, just bring your left hand back. See if maybe you can grab onto that foot, maybe on the pinky toe side or either side, and then kick up into the hand. We're still trying to keep the hips level, so lifting the left hip, lowering the right hip, kick up into that hand one more time. And slowly release, come back, hands and knees, one round of cat-cow, the slowest, sweetest breath. Come back to that neutral spine, reach back through the left heel, level the hips, toes point down and slightly in, arms straight and strong, heart radiating forward, back of the neck long, right hand reaches forward. Like you're being measured from your heel to your fingertips, find more length. But on the exhale, find more softness through the face, the shoulder, the heart. Exhale, knee to nose, round your spine. See if you can use the breath and that expansion and contraction to just be okay with whatever is happening, with the universe expanding and contracting like it does, inevitably. See if you can be unattached to that and just be in the process with it, feeling that expansion, but then being fully willing to just let that go. Next time you lengthen out, stay here, reach the right hand back. Maybe you can grab the foot and kick up into the hand. Back of the neck stays long, maybe head is heavy. Press into the left hand more, try to level the hips and kick. Slowly come back, hands and knees, one round of cat-cow. All right, come back to neutral spine, and we're just gonna step back into plank pose, setting it up. Shoulders stacked right over wrists. Lengthen out, find more space in your body. Use your breath to create more space in your body and in your mind. Feel the heart radiating forward. Feel that sense of aliveness in the body, that strength. Maybe even a little shaking. Waking things up here, firing things up. And now roll to the outside edge of the left foot and reach the right hand up. You can lower the left knee down if you like, and even draw those toes back behind you a little bit like a kickstand. And then reach the right arm up and overhead. Spiral the pinky down towards the ground. Roll that right shoulder back to open the heart up towards the sky and reach through the fingers. If you can, root down into the right foot, the whole right foot. Pressing into the left hand, trying to open the heart. Slowly come back to that plank pose. Stay with your breath. Roll to the outside edge of the right foot. Reach the left hand up. Maybe knee lowers to the ground. And then reach that left arm up and overhead. Scoop the hips forward a little bit. Roll that left shoulder back and reach through the fingertips. Find a little more space. Slowly come back to plank. And on a 10 count, we'll lower all the way down. Keep this really nice long line of energy. Back of the neck stays long. Elbows point straight back. You'll rub right past them here. Try not to let anything break this nice long line of energy as you lower all the way down to the chest and the chin, on top of the toes. Use your hands to pull your heart forward a little bit. Press into the feet to lift your heart up. Roll your shoulders back. Stay here. If this feels intense, you can keep lowering down at the exhale and then lifting up on the inhale until you feel warm enough, strong enough to stay here. Keep using your hands to pull the heart forward and roll the shoulders back. Keep the elbows hugging in and reaching back towards the feet. Press into the feet to lift the heart one more time. Maybe you start to straighten into the arms. So you're pushing into the hands a little bit, but you're still using the hands to pull the heart forward. Slowly lower back down. Press back through child's pose. And when you're ready, we'll slowly lift it up, downward facing dog. Just welcome anything you're feeling here, even if it's tension. Just be glad that you're becoming aware of it. Take your breath to that spot. Feel it as just the sensation of being alive. Yes, having a body means some tension. See if you can be all right with that. And use your breath to let it soften. We're going to stay here for 3 more breaths. Press into the hands a little more. When you notice you're getting tired and you kind of want to relax into it or stop pressing as much, notice that just pressing a little harder actually makes it easier. Slowly walk your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Grab onto your elbows, shake your head a little bit, shake it all out. Feel that ragdoll sensation to let go here of that tension in your low back. It's okay if your knees are bent. Just find a little fluidity here. Sometimes we get really stuck in our ways and these rigid thought patterns and rigid motions even, just moving in a really linear way that doesn't allow our spine or our energy field to be fluid. See if you can break out of those linear thought patterns and linear ways of movement and just not even care how it looks right now and just be kind of jello-y, letting things just kind of move around. Release your arms, press into the feet, slowly roll up. Head is heavy, arms are heavy. All right, press into the feet, lift the quads up, roll the shoulders back. You can have your feet as wide as your hips or a little closer together if you'd like. I've been liking mine a little further apart, the same as my hips, so that there's not this torque on your knees by having your feet closer together than the hips. I say for women that's better, a little space between the feet. But whatever feels good to you, find that and press into the feet more and really feel that. Embody that energy of a tree, growing roots down into the earth so you can lengthen up a little bit more, so you can feel stable to expand and contract with your breath, with the universe, but still feeling rooted down here. Inhale, arms up overhead. Squeeze your palms together, lift your fingers a little higher. Exhale, swan dive or draw the hands down center line as you hinge at the hips. Fold in deeply, let out all the air. Inhale, lift up halfway, press into your shins, shine the heart forward, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step back to plank pose. Feel your strength here. Feel that external rotation of the upper arms as you shine the heart forward. Feel the low belly drawing in and up, hollowing it out, engaging the core. Feel the quads lifting up off the knees and the heels pressing back to find a little more length. Rock forward onto the toes and slowly lower halfway down just so your shoulders are at elbow height. Untuck both toes. Tops of the feet pressing in, pull the heart forward, roll the shoulders back. You can look up a little bit, but keep the back of the neck long. Exhale, from your core, lift up, downward facing dog, press into the hands, let the head become heavy. And try to find stillness here in your downward facing dog. Imagine this shape, this upside down V. Imagine pressing into the hands and the feet to lift that center point, those sit bones up and back a little more. But at the same time, drawing energy down the back of the legs to root into the heels. One more breath. Slowly walk the feet forward to meet the hands. Inhale to lift up halfway. And exhale to fold. Grab your elbows behind your knees and fold yourself into that little ball. Head is heavy, breath is deep, back of the neck long and soft. Soften through the face, soften through the heart. Start to press into your feet a little bit more. Maybe you start to straighten the legs a little bit, pressing those sit bones up and back. Reaching the crown down towards the feet. Release the arms, slowly roll up, head and neck heavy. Act like your arms weigh 100 pounds and they're pulling you back down to the ground so that you can stack each vertebrae in place, kind of resisting that energy to find a little more space between each vertebrae. Lift the heart, roll the shoulders back. Now step your feet together. Unless you want to keep them hip width distance, that's fine too. We're going to bend the knees, but we don't move the knees, okay? So place your hands on them to be sure you're not letting them come forward. They don't move at all. We just actually lower the booty. So we're not really even bending the knees. I mean, yeah, sure, the legs are bent, right? But the motion is just lowering the booty so the knees stay stacked over ankles. Press down into the feet and imagine that you're trying to spread them away from each other to really fire up the legs and find that internal rotation of the thighs. See if you can feel that. Press the feet down. You're trying to spread them and see if you can feel those thighs like they're rolling inward towards each other. Draw the belly in and up. Keep drawing the heart back a little bit, trying to stack shoulders over hips. If you're ready, you can bring the hands together and gaze up at the thumbs. If that's too much, just keep reaching forward. Just spiral those pinkies forward and pull the shoulders back into the sockets. Hold the belly in. Feel that sensation of being alive, maybe even shaking here. Feel your strength. Stand up, find a little backward bend. Press down into the feet, lift up through the heart. Exhale, hands to heart. And hands down by your sides. All right, root down into that left foot. Grow roots down into the earth as you slowly lift the right foot up into tree pose. Maybe you help that foot up nice and high onto the inner thigh. Press that foot into the thigh and the thigh back into the foot. Let that be your only focus for a second, is finding that equal pressure, foot to thigh, thigh to foot, meeting each other with equal and opposing forces here to find your balance point. And then bring your hands to your heart. Scoop your hips forward a little bit. Let your knee fall back to open the hips. Down into the left foot a little bit more. Grow a little bit taller. Soften through the face. Soften through the shoulders. And feel yourself expanding and contracting with the universe. Slowly hug that right knee in and up. Keep rooting into the left foot to lengthen up through the crown. Peel that right arm back towards the back of the mat. Maybe your gaze can follow. If you feel steady here, see if you can find a little twist here, drawing that knee towards the center line of your body with the left hand to find a little twist. Don't lose that rooting to rise sensation. Use the exhale to soften face, soften shoulders, reach back, look back. Bring your hands to your heart and slowly hinge at the hips and shoot that right leg back behind you. Keep the hips in one line from the side. Point your toes at the ground and slightly in. Everything parallel to the ground now. That leg, the back of the neck. Find your breath. Press back through the heel a little more. Toes point down and slightly in. Lifting the left hip, lowering the right hip. Slowly step back into crescent lunge. Stack your knee over your ankle. Shoulders over your hips. Reach up out of the waist. If you feel ready, hands together, gaze up at the thumbs. Press the left knee straight forward, straight out over that middle toe. Press the right heel straight back. So feel how when you do that, when you press that left knee forward, that hip kind of wants to come too, because maybe your hips are tight. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Why did I go away? Oh, somebody's FaceTiming me. I need to put that on airplane mode. I don't know if that affects you guys here or if you can still see me, but my screen went away. And my music. That's okay. All right, so anyways, as you start to push that left knee forward, you might notice that hip's trying to go with, but we don't want that. We want the hips to stay facing forward. So as your left knee presses forward and your right heel pressed back, you have to do the opposite motion with the hips to keep them facing forward, right? Left hip back, right hip forward, yeah? Slowly lower the right knee all the way down to the ground. Untuck those toes, sink in a little bit. Make sure your knee is right over your ankle. Maybe you bring the hands together and gaze up at the thumbs. So still pressing that left knee forward, but drawing that left hip back into the socket. Using that motion to peel that right hip flexor open, softening there. I don't know how to get my screen back. Boom, boom. Okay, slowly lower your hands down to frame that foot. Draw the toes back like half splits. Still here, drawing that left hip back and that right hip forward, drawing the toes back towards the face. Feel the heart lifting, radiating forward and up. The shoulders stay soft, back of the neck stays long. Slowly lower that foot down, curl the right toes under, and lift the right knee up. Try to straighten into both legs here. Shifting your hips back, still drawing that left hip back into the socket to keep both hips in that same plane. Maybe you draw the toes back towards the nose here, coming up onto that heel. Find length in the back of your neck, softness in your face and shoulders. Stay with your breath. Lower that left foot down. Crawl over to the right to a wide leg forward fold. Turn your toes in towards each other just a little bit. And now grab the elbows and we're just going to sway a little bit. Bending the knees, shaking the head out, just kind of swaying side to side here. Notice if you're rocking weight into one foot or the other, or one part of the foot, the inside edge or the outside edge, and try to really evenly root down into the feet. Shake your head. And now press into the feet, slowly come over to the right. Inhale, come all the way up. Press into the feet, reach the elbows up. Exhale, come back down. If you want to keep your knees slightly bent, you can, but keep them bent evenly. So your structure is nice and symmetrical, not tilting or shifting as you move. Okay, next time you're up, stay up. And lower your hands to your knees. Turn your toes all the way out now. So we're trying to stack the knees over the ankles. You might need to help them open here to open the hips. You might need to move around a little bit to get into it. So yeah, keep pressing those knees open, but then lift the heart, try to stack shoulders over hips. Now bring your thumbs on the inside, pointing down towards your knee, and sink a little weight there. Pressing the knees back with that weight, and then drop the right shoulder towards the left knee. Keep pressing into the feet, softening through the face and shoulders. Keep Dropping that right shoulder down towards that left foot.
Breathe deep.
Slowly come back to center.
Deep breath.
Resituate. Sink in, but lengthen up. Left shoulder, right knee. Keep pushing those knees back and open to open the hips. Slowly come back up. And we'll straighten the legs. Turn all the toes to face the front of the mat. Sink into that crescent lunge. Reach up out of the waist. Lower your hands to the ground. Step back to plank. And lower through chaturanga. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Stay with your breath.
Everything in life revolves around the one. Floating like the planets in our solar system. Take a deep breath. Fill up my lungs. Draw the line back for the central sun. Breathe deep. Deep breath. Inhale, exhale. Stress.
Now you're all gone. Oh, there we go. I guess I just have to deal with this little screen. That's okay. All right. Shift your gaze up between your hands, bend your knees, and walk or hop to the top.
Deep breath.
Inhale, lift up halfway.
Release the stress.
Exhale, fold.
Deep breath.
Inhale, reverse swan dive. Press into the feet. Be big. Expand with the universe. Fill your heart. Exhale, let that go. Draw the hands through the heart center. And down by your sides. And now we'll root into the right foot and lift that left foot up into tree pose. First, establishing that contact, that connection, that equal pressure. That's our balancing point. Root into the right foot. Scoop the hips forward. Let the knee fall back. When you're ready, bring the hands to the heart. Head is slightly bowing to the heart to lengthen the back of the neck. Soften through the face, shoulders. See if you can tap back into that heart space if you've gone back to your head. See if you can feel that sinking, that letting go. As you come down in there to occupy this space in your heart. Slowly lift the left knee in and up, hug it in tight, keep rooting to rise. When you feel ready, peel that left arm back. Maybe gaze can follow. Maybe you can find that little twist, drawing the knee across the body a little bit with the right hand. Keep rooting to rise. Keep your knee lifted, bring your hands to heart center, turn to face forward. Imagine the hips staying in one line from the side as you come down till everything's parallel to the ground. Point the toes down and slightly in. Level the hips by lifting the right hip and lowering the left hip. Lengthen out. Find your breath. Slowly step back into crescent lunge, stacking knee right over ankles, shoulders over hips. Reach up out of the waist. Right knee pressing forward, left heel pressing back. If the hips are trying to go along for the ride, draw the right hip back, left hip forward. Breathe into that left hip flexor. Slowly lower the left knee all the way down to deepen that stretch in the hip flexor. Untuck the back toes, sink in a little bit. Keep drawing the right hip back to peel that left hip flexor open. Slowly lower the hands to frame the foot. Draw the toes back like half splits. Keep drawing the right hip back. Keep the spine long. Back of the neck long but soft. Soften through your face. See if there's anywhere else you can soften here. Try to use the breath to find that sweet balance of strength and surrender. On the inhale, we're creating a little more form to find space in it. And on the exhale, we're trying to keep that space but let go. Lower the right foot down, curl the left toes under, lift that left knee, straighten into the legs.
Try to place your upper body on the leg, tucking the chin towards the chest, letting your head be heavy. Maybe you can sink back into the left heel more. Maybe you can draw the right toes back towards the face. Lower the right foot down, crawl over towards the left, finding that wide leg forward fold. Turn your toes in a little bit. Inhale, lift up halfway, and exhale, fold. Walk your hands back between your feet, fingers pointing back away from you. Use the hands like you're trying to pull your head down towards the ground more. Start to rock a little bit of weight into the balls of the feet to lift your sit bones up and back, but you're still really grounding through the whole foot, both feet equally, yeah? Soften shoulders out of the ears, soften that space in your head, soften that space in your heart. Use the inhale to find some exertion or lifting the hips, straightening the legs. Use the exhale to let go of that. Slowly come back, wrists under shoulders, put a little bend in your knees, bring your hands to your hips, and slowly come all the way up. Turn your toes out again. Try to stack your knees over your ankles. Move around a little if you like. Now bring your arms up like cactus, goddess pose. All right, spiral the pinkies in. Draw the elbows back more. Feel your heart opening. So you're trying to press the knees straight out towards the feet. Yeah, trying to scoop them back a little bit to open the hips and then press them out towards the toes a little more. Try to draw the elbows back behind you a little bit more. And that length in the back of your neck, but softness too. Lift the right heel up off the ground, coming up onto the toes of that right foot. Feel that strength in your body. See if you can reprogram instead of feeling like that's hard or too much exertion. See if you can appreciate that sensation of being alive, even if it's kind of on fire. Lower the right heel back down, lift the left toes up, and embrace that. The sensation of having a body, even if that means there's some tension involved. Lower the left heel, lift both heels up. Keep opening the knees back, opening the elbows back. Find your breath. Lower the heels down, inhale, reach up out of the waist. Straight legs, straight arms, lift the quads up off the knees, lift the heart. Exhale, sink back in, bending the knees and opening them back, just like the elbows, back, back, back. Inhale, press into the feet, root to rise here, be big, expand a little bit more, one more sip. Exhale, sink in. 2 more with your own breath. See how long you can make them last. See if you can bring any more joy into this breath, this movement. See if you can bring that love and light from the heart space into this dimension by moving your body in a mindful way, moving with your breath and the universe. Straighten the legs, bring the hands to the hips, turn all your toes to face forward. Crescent lunge. Slowly lower your hands down, step back to plank and lower through chaturanga, meeting back in downward facing dog. All right, inhale, lift the right foot up high. Exhale, draw the knee to the nose, step it through like warrior one. Spin the left heel out and down. Inhale, rise up, knee over ankle, shoulders over hips. Right hip drawing back to inch that left hip forward. Press the right knee straight forward over that middle toe. Press down into both feet evenly. Feel that rooting to rise here as you lift up through the heart, expanding. Exhale, hands to heart. Keep pressing the right knee forward. Keep the length in your spine. Turn and twist to the right. Hooking that left elbow outside the right knee for leverage. Use that leverage. Twist your heart towards the thumbs, towards the sky. Keep pressing the right knee straight forward and pressing down into both feet. Feel the right hand pressing into the left hand. Roll that right shoulder back. See if you can find any more space
like lengthening the spine and the back of the neck. Chin is slightly tucked. Not really tucked. There's actually like some space between your chin and your chest, but you are finding length in the back of the neck, yeah? One more breath. See if you can find any more length in the spine. After you find that length, then you soften here to twist. Bring your hands to the ground. Shoot the right foot up and back, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open the hips. Try to stack them here. Press into the hands evenly, keeping the arms straight and strong. Head is heavy, breath is deep. If you want, you can go all the way over a wild thing. Pressing into the feet to lift the hips, lift the heart. Reach through the fingertips, relax your head and your neck. Find your breath, find a little more space. Use this breath to expand fully, occupying all the space in your body and your mind with this prana, this life force, not leaving any room there for the monkey chatter or the self-doubt. Slowly come back to plank and roll to the outside edge of your right foot. Peel the left arm up, side plank. Lift the hips a little higher, press down into the right hand. Find your breath. Reach your left hand forward towards the front of the mat and slowly come back to plank, lowering through chaturanga, meeting back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot lifts up high. Exhale, knee to nose, step it through, warrior one. Right heel spins out and down. Knee over ankle, shoulders over hips, left hip back to inch right hip forward. Reach up out of the waist, maybe hands come together, maybe gaze up the thumbs. Draw the belly in and up. Lower your hands to the heart. Keep pressing the left knee forward, lengthen forward. Right elbow outside of the knee for leverage. Use the leverage, twist your spine open. Press into the feet, lengthen through the spine and the back of the neck. Left hand pressing into right hand, roll that left shoulder back. Maybe your thumbs are coming onto the center of the chest here as you open the heart more towards the ceiling. Lower the hands down, shoot the left foot up, three-legged dog, bend the knee, open the hips, head is heavy, breath is deep. Maybe you slowly flip it all the way over, wild thing. Press into the feet, lift the hips, reach forward. Slowly come back to plank. And roll to the outside edge of the left foot, side plank. Root into the left hand, lift the hips. Reach the right arm up alongside the ear and lengthen out. Slowly come back to plank, lower through chaturanga, meeting back in downward facing dog. Good. All right, slowly lower down to the knees. We're gonna come to standing on the knees, kneeling, yeah. Hips stacked over knees. Bring your hands to the low back. Maybe your fingers can point up here. Wrap your elbows a little closer together behind you to open the heart. Press the hips forward to lift the heart up. Maybe the head drops back. Find your breath. On an inhale, come back up. Knees together, hips to heels, hands to knees. Tuck your tailbone all the way under. Tuck your chin all the way to your chest. Curl into that tight little ball. Get a little bit smaller. Now inhale, expand. Find that wave-like motion like cat-cow. One more sip, fill up. Exhale, round it out. Slowly come back up to kneeling. We're gonna do 2 more sets of camel. You can start to walk your hands down towards your heels, grabbing your heels if you like, or maybe you just wanna grab one heel and reach the other arm up, and on the next set, do the other side.
Set it up first. Root down to the knees, press the hips forward, lift the heart. Maybe you start to reach down for that heel and use the other arm to reach up to keep that lift in the heart. Pressing the hips forward. Keep breathing. So on the inhale, you'll feel that expansion. And then you don't let any of that go, any of that lift or space, but you just soften a little bit on the exhale. Slowly come back up, knees together, hips to heels, hands to knees, tuck it all in real tight. Stay there if it feels good, or again, wave it out. All right, one more set. Come up onto the knees. Set it up. Wrap the elbows back there, press the hips forward. Maybe you're grabbing for that other heel now. Inhale, a little more length. Exhale, a little more softness. Slowly come back up on an inhale, knees together, hips to heels. So make sure your feet are together. And now we're gonna reach back and grab the heels with the full palm grip, with thumb on the outside. And then we're gonna try to tuck into the tightest little ball. Lean back a little bit, and then tuck your chin to your chest. Imagine you're rolling into this little ball, trying to touch your forehead to your knees, and trying to touch the top of your head to the mat right in front of your knees. Roll forward onto the top of your head, like a wheel, trying to roll forward. You don't want too much weight here on the head, so pull on the hips, pull on the heels more, and lift the hips more, and breathe into that space behind the heart. And slowly come back up. Okay, now we're just gonna sit onto the left hip and straighten the right leg out. Okay, find that 90 degrees here. Kick out through the right heel, draw the toes back towards the face, lengthen up through the spine, reach up out of the waist. Turn to face that right leg. Keep rooting into the left knee and sit bone. Lengthen all the way down, grabbing whatever you can. See if you can keep lifting that heel off the ground and drawing the toes back towards the face. Really engaging that right quad, pressing it down to the ground. See if you can keep pulling your heart towards the foot a little more. Soften the shoulders out of the ears. Find your breath. See if you can bring a little more joy into this breath. See if you can get just a little bit more out of it just by staying with it a little bit longer. Really soaking it all in here. Using that inhale to fill you up. But then being okay with letting that go and being empty again. Oscillating back and forth between being full and being empty. Jama, do you have a disco ball shining light on you? I'm seeing the weirdest light refracted around you. I see your aura. Slowly come back up. And switch. Straighten that left leg out. Bring that right foot in. Root into the sit bones. Reach up out of the waist. Turn to face that left leg. Lengthen out. So find that nice balance of exerting just enough energy to make something happen, to find more space, and just enough softness to kind of soak it all in. Slowly come back up. And now we'll place both feet flat on the ground in front of us here. Reach the hands forward. And lift the legs up now into boat pose. Maybe you want to grab the back of your knees. Maybe you feel balanced here. Straightening the arms and legs. Squeeze the legs together like you're trying to hug everything into the center line and zip it all up. Press out through the balls of the feet and the heels. Lift the heart a little more. Find that balance point. Find your breath. Now slowly lengthen out to a hover. So everything's just floating a couple inches off the ground. Look down at the feet, reach for the feet. Keep kicking through the heels. Keep hugging everything into the center line. Feel this strength in your body. Appreciate it. And slowly lower down. Hug your knees into your chest. All right, we're gonna roll it back into cloud pose. See if you can get the toes to touch the ground behind your head. If you don't feel like you need your hands on your low back for support here, press your palms down into the mat, or maybe interlace the fingers back there. Maybe even gluing the palms together there. See if you can reach your toes a little further back. See if you can soften through the neck and the shoulders, sink in a little bit, inviting the stretch down into your upper middle back, making it less about your neck, just by softening through the neck. Bring your hands to your low back, creating a shelf for the hips, straighten the legs, stacking hips over shoulders, feet over hips. Pressing your hips up towards your face, drawing the feet back away from your face, reaching up through the balls of the feet, zip your legs together like you're hugging that center line. Lift the feet a little higher to take some of the weight off of the mat. Soften through the face, soften through the shoulders. Stay for one more breath. Slowly lower back into that plow pose. And take the deepest, slowest, sweetest breath you've ever taken and see what you can soften here. Reach your hands forward, press down into the palms. Use them as the brakes, slow as you can go. Roll it out, one vertebrae at a time. So feel that upper vertebrae touch first, and then the next one, and then the next one. Once your butt touches the ground, keep squeezing the legs together and kicking up through the heels as you slowly lengthen all the way down. See if you can root the shoulders down and keep the back of the neck long, but soften through the face and shoulders too. Hug your knees into your chest. Lower your feet down flat. Cross your right knee over your left. Bring your arms out like cactus. Shift your hips to the right so that when you drop your knees to the left, your hips will stack here. You can look down. Maybe you still need to draw that left hip back a little bit. Maybe your right toes wrap around that left calf for a little bit more. If your knee is not all the way down to the ground, maybe you use your left hand to get the knee to the ground and then gaze out over the right hand and try to relax that right shoulder. See if you can get that right shoulder, elbow, hand all down on the ground here. Using your breath to soften. So if you were exerting some energy through that left hand to pull the left knee down, soften that now. Relax both the shoulders, relax the face, relax the jaw. And now on the inhale, we're not really trying to find any length or exert any effort, but we are trying to take just a little bit more air and expand just a little more fully. But we're also trying to find that feeling of letting go on the exhale, even on the inhale. See if you can do that. See if you can relax everything as you inhale to every little nook and cranny. Take a little more air even after you think you're full. And then exhale, let go. One more time. Slowly come back to center, hug your knees into your chest. Lower your feet down flat. Cross the left knee over the right. Cactus the arms. Hips to the left, knees to the right. Stack the hips. If you like, you can use the right hand to guide the knee a little closer to the ground, and then gaze out over the left hand. Try to get that left elbow, left hand, left shoulder all the way down by softening here. Breathe all the way down into the low back and belly. Fill it all the way up. And on the exhale, release. If you're using energy in that right hand, let that go. So you can relax both your shoulders, soften all that space in your head. Drop back down into that heart space. Now trying to find that same sensation of letting go on the inhale. Slowly come back to center, hug your knees into your chest. And let your legs go long on the mat. Spread your feet as wide as the mat. Let your toes fall open. Tuck your chin just a little bit one more time. And you can have your hands by your sides with your palms facing up, or one hand on your heart and one hand in your belly. But drop down into that heart space. If you find it easier to access, you can drop down into the low belly, bringing your breath there. Just notice the difference of how it feels to be in your thinking mind, or down in the heart space, or down in the belly. And know that doing these practices and bringing your breath into your movement will help us discern. Obviously, sometimes we have to use our mind as a tool and be in that headspace. The idea is that with the proper retraining, we can bring some of this light, this feeling of peace with us back up into that headspace. Eventually, you'll be residing in both. You'll be in that heart space and looking at everything through that heart space, but still able to use your thinking mind critically without letting it take over. Basically, without letting it tell you how to feel. So we'll take one more really, really deep, slow breath. See if you can inhale for 7, 8 counts. Even after you're full, just keep inhaling, keep inhaling, keep inhaling. And then make the exhale just as drawn out. So don't let it all out at once. Let it out slowly as you melt. Feel that melting sensation. Feel that letting go on a deeper level than you've ever felt it. Using each exhale as an invitation to find that next layer you want to shed, that next level of unwind that's waiting right there for you. Giving yourself permission to let go.
before you start to bring that little tiny bit of motion into your fingers and toes, imagine that you're re-emerging into a new earth, into a new consciousness, using that tiny little subtle bits of movement to invite you to become aware of that energy, that inner body, that inner space. And seeing if you can keep the mind in this clear state. See if you can stay down in that heart space as you start to come back and roll over onto your right side. When you're ready, slowly press it back up to a seat. All right, root into the sit bones, lift up through the heart. Keep the shoulders drawing down as you inhale, reach out and lengthen up. Expanding one more time. Take a little more space, find a little more length, find a little more air inside. Exhale, hands to heart. Feel that heart radiating out into the hands, out into the room, out into the world. Head slightly bows to the heart, close your eyes. And before we close with our little prayer for peace, let's just make a commitment to, instead of just sending this idea of peace out into the world, to doing whatever we can, just even within the walls of our own home, to make sure that we are not inflicting suffering on anyone, namely yourselves. Close your eyes. Bring your hands up to that space above the eyebrows. May all beings everywhere be free from pain and suffering. May our thoughts and actions contribute to that. Namaste. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I really need you right now.